Welcome back to Kyalami, ladies and gents. Great to have you part and parcel of the Motorsport Festival for 2017. The cars lining up now are the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. And of course, we are looking at nearly 75 million rands worth of motor cars coming to do battle here at the second time of asking for this Motorsport Festival. There's a man who's come a long, long way, though, to be part and parcel of this. He's in the studio with us right now, Walter Lechner from the Lechner Racing Team. Great to have you here, Walt. And tell us why you're here, bud. Why did you come all the way to South Africa to be part and parcel of this event?
Well, Toby visited the Bahrain International Circuit in November with the World Endurance Series, and he told me about this new Johannesburg Kyalami track, and told me, well, you have to come to see it. That's my only weekend free of all year, really. I just decided to fly out.
Fantastic. You've got a big relationship with the Porsche brand. You run your own Porsche team, first of all, but it must be nice to see 3 Porsches on the front 2 rows there.
I was a bit surprised because going through the pit lane and seeing the Ferraris and Lamborghinis around, I thought, okay, that'll be a tough, race day. But it seems that Toby Venter has it quite under control. I mean, I've helped him a bit, to be fair.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about that, hey? I think there's a little bit of extra help that came out of the team. There's some special 18-inch Michelin tyres that are on the back end of that car, aren't they?
I wouldn't call them that they are compound-wise special. They're just, standard race tyres, basically, which anyone could buy, okay? It's just that I came out and with John together, who is his mechanic and looks after the car. We've both worked nicely together to get the tires to the right temperatures so that he could perform well. And I guess the time from 1:44.27 from qualifying this morning shows how well the job was done by all 3 of us, Toby as a driver, and John and myself, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, you've seen now that the track temperatures have increased. You can see that the ambient temperatures also increased. Would there be any adjustments to that for this first race?
Well, John has done that. We've discussed it and left it to him because they used warmers. And I'm not experienced with warmers because we're not allowed to use them in the Porsche Supercar.
So a nice field of cars out here as well. You mentioned the fact the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris there. We've got a big contingent of BMW. There's a Mercedes-Benz thrown in there, a KTM Crossbow. Yeah. Nothing quite like this in Europe, I don't think, in terms of supercar racing that we see.
Not really. It's very different. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic what I'm seeing here. There's so many cars and so many different cars. I've also been up on top where the Canon cars and the historic cars are. So it's very nice. It's also, they have a lot of different cars. So overtaking is a big issue. I was watching qualifying from the track, so I could immediately see that, people are aware of that they will be overtaken or how to overtake. I talked to Saul Hack, who is also in Porsche, and it's his first race for a long time. And because I was surprised that he could, overtake so well. People get used to that if they have this kind of fields.
It's fantastic to see that the circuit and the modifications that have been done to the new circuit have given opportunities to drivers to go almost 3-4 cars abreast into some of the turns, which of course makes for great racing. When you see the previous categories that have already been out, the Polo Cup, for instance, you had 4 cars going into turn 1 side by side.
I've watched most of them.
And I don't know if you saw any of last year's event, but last year's event there were about 3 or 4 Ferraris that went side by side into these turns as well.
I didn't see that. No, it's the first time really. But I've been here in 1987. I raced myself here.
In the Wins 500, you said?
2500, yes. It was a 500 kilometer race. And I remember the time I did 1:12.8.
Yes.
Which wasn't bad, Toby told me.
In a sports car?
In a sports car.
Yeah.
And on the old track. And I finished my hit 3rd, I remember. And combined with the other driver, finished 5th. And I enjoyed very much in South Africa. And then, actually, I can't say I enjoyed South Africa, I enjoyed Kyalami because...
You only saw Kyalami in the hotel. We know how that feels.
You name it, it's just every time the same. So hopefully next time I stay longer.
Well, that's fantastic to have you here. Thank you so much for coming to join us up here in the commentary booth and give us a little bit of insight from Toby Venter's point of view and from the Lechner Racing point of view. And we hope that you're going to bring your cars and your teams and all your friends and come and be part and parcel of an international here sometime.
It's a bit far away.
Well, we hope so. All the best there. Thank you, Walter, for joining us. Walter Lechner there from Lechner Racing as we come down under starters' orders now into Crocodiles. And some young fans behind us here for the first time. The collars are in the house. They're coming to have a look and see how things work from a television point of view, from a live streaming point of view. And we are live on Facebook on ILEB. It's a big welcome from everybody, from myself, Greg Maloney. And, of course, now joining me for the commentary will be Leon Udendal. And we're going to take you through this first heat of the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. 9 laps of action about to come your way. And as they head through Cheetah now, it is up to the boss man, Toby Venter, to dictate the pace. Now, last year, Leon, you weren't here, but I can tell you something. Johan Engelbrecht in the Jogga Racing and Madonna Wine's Porsche there, the GT Club Sport car, certainly has got to turn a pace, and he actually outgunned the boss man down into Crowthorne Corner. I'm not quite sure if he's going to have it this time. Let's have a look and see as the lights go out. It's Porsche side by side. The Ferrari of Scribati tucks in behind them, and alongside him will be Charles Arangis. Arangis making a welcome return to G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. It is the Jogga Porsche who gets the whole shot. Johan Ferrari has hit the front. Johan Engelbrecht, I should say, has hit the front. Can you believe that? It's kind of what we expected, but now it'll take a little while to get those Porsche tyres up to the correct temperature. We heard that from Walter. Once they're into the correct temperature, it could be a difficult car to keep behind him. He's going to have to work hard and potentially go for almost a Brad Anastas type feel here. One lap wonder. Can Engelbrecht keep Toby Venter out for the next 9 laps? I don't know if that's going to happen. We spoke to Engelbrecht during the break, and he was saying to me that Toby's car is so good. If you look at the modifications on that car compared to last year, they're now not only looking at downforce from the front, but they've got scoops on the side of the car that actually sit that car down properly. There's a move in a little bit further back there from the baby beamer of Davy Olivier, and then you can see starting to make his way through the field nicely is Campos. Campos goes inside and around and gets through on the extra shoes BMW there of Adrian Dalton. Tucked in behind Craig Jarvis in the Panacea and Liquimoli Autohouse Angel Ferrari. That is a 430. The 430, of course, is a 4.3 litre V8. The 360s are a 3.6 litre V8. And as they head to the top of the hill to Leocop for the first time, the 2 Porsches getting away. It's a Ferrari battle with a little baby beamer thrown into the mix, and then 2 other big M3 BMWs on their tail.
Yes, Greg, a great big field here in the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars, and it bodes for a good race that Johan Engelbrecht, he got the whole shot on Toby Venter, so the dice will be in the front. But let's look at the rest of the field as they come through the mine shaft. There's Campos, there's Adrian Dalton, everybody jotting for positions. We've got the BMWs, we've got the Ferraris, we've got the Porsches leading. So, Greg, this is a great race in the G&H Transport Extreme.
Well, it's still Johan Engelbrecht as they're going to Ingwe, so he's going to have 1 lap ahead of the boss man. So Porsche South Africa will be thinking to himself, hang on a second, what parts did we give to Johan Engelbrecht that we mentioned last year? The 2 Ferraris side by side as Arangis tries to come alongside Scribanti. Arangis in the Scuderia Ferrari looking for a way through, but can't quite find it just yet. Bit further back there, that is Andrew Colbert. Andrew Colbert under pressure from Tata Carrello. Then it's Jonathan Dutoy. Jonathan Dutoy is usually running at the front end of that Trans Africa Racing 430 Ferrari. Look at where he's sitting right now, right out of the mix and not where we want him to be. I can tell you something, it's going to be an interesting turn of events here if things stay the same, and it looks like things are going to be pretty much the same as they go through there. Tato has a big look, tries to get through on Colbert. Does he make it stick? New leader, coming out of barbecue, and Toby Venter's hit the front. Engelbrecht is going to try and run with him. Now remember, Toby Venter's car is one of 3. They are unique machines in this world, and it's an absolutely amazing car. It's over 20 years old, and the one right behind him there is running a spare parts engine. They've literally found bits and pieces all over the place, and they're developing this engine for the Africa Endurance Series. So every now and again they turn the boost up or they turn the boost down, just developing that car and getting it all right there in the GT Club Sport pit. Then you've got Scuderia Scribanti on their tail. That is Franco at the wheel. Rangis is all over the back of him, and he's having to work hard to stay with that 430 GTS. Behind them, it's the baby beamer of Davy Olivier, and coming up onto the braking markers comes Marcel Angel. First time out for him in the 458.
There we go, Greg. Here's Arangis in the Lamborghini, and he's chasing down Franco Scribante. But yeah, in the front, Toby Venter took the lead, but down the mine shaft they go. There's another Porsche, a little bit of debris we saw there. Looks like Scribante. Then we've got Arangis, then we've got Davy Olivier, and the rest of the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis keeping chase. There we go. Number 25, Davy Olivier in the number 25 G&H Transport car, little baby beamer as we call it, and he's going. Yes, we've got Franco Scribante, he's in the Ferrari. Here they go, looking for a move down there. It's Arangis. Franco Scribante goes defensive on the inside, but let's see, will he have the draft out of the corner? Down to the pit straight. The 2 Porsches are leading. Look at them go, Greg. Great top speeds here from these vehicles.
Yeah, let me tell you something on Johan Engelbrecht's car this morning in the qualifying session as he came through the kink, 279 kilometers an hour. All big problems. Sun Moodley coming together there with the crossbow. Sun Moodley has put the Porsche in the wall and he's stuck in the kitty litter. So the big Express Freight man, the man, of course, who brought Walter Lechner up here to meet us, unfortunately has ended up in the kitty litter. Looks like he might have had it coming together there with the KTM crossbow of Dion Duplessis. And hopefully that's not the case, but the rest of the field comes streaming through there. You can see starting to make their way up, and a little bit further up we saw Ricky Jonakaro just squeezing through there, one of the big guys from G&H Transport. Oh, and no, the 458 spun as well. That's out of barbecue. That is, unfortunately, Marcel Angel stricken in a very dangerous position. He moves to the inside of the circuit and is going to try and get that car turned around as quickly as possible, just waiting for a gap. There you go. Autohaus Angel 458 Ferrari. And in fact, that's a Crowthorne.
Yeah.
That was a Crowthorne heading into the Yuxke sweep. Fortunately, just getting back on track before the KTM Crossbow returning to the circuit. Got there. Here we get to the front end of the field now. Toby's got away. Johan Engelbrecht stays in second place. The battle is for third place. And it's Aranji's looking for a way on the inside of Scribante. Has he got him? Yes, he has. Oh, the Stradale Motorsport Ferrari 430 has just snuck through there on the Scuderia Scribante Ferrari of Franco Scribante.
Yeah, Greg, only lap 3 of this 9-lap and already plenty incidents there. That previous incident was in Cheetah Corner, only room for one vehicle there. But getting back here, it is Aranjes. He's past Scribante. Can Scribante get back at him? Great car there, number 8, the Ferrari there. So let's see what they can do. In the front, Toby Fenton now putting in the lap times. They won't catch him, but already a few incidents here, Greg. Cheetah is one corner where you don't want to lose it.
Looking at those lap times, it's not quite the lap times we expected out of Toby. We were kind of thinking he'd get down into the high 43s. He's now into the mid 47. So I think a little bit of time behind Johan Engelbrecht hasn't given him the time and space that he needs. Now that he's got clean air, expect the lap times to tumble. I think Toby Fenton might mean business here. He definitely wants to set the all and outright lap record around the circuit again. He held it for a few months and then was slightly bettered by one of the A1 Grand Prix cars, the Afrix Motorsport cars, and he now wants Porsche to own that outright lap record.
Yeah, and of course, Greg, you have to set that lap record time during a race. Qualifying doesn't count. It has to happen during a race.
Correct.
To let the people know out there.
And unfortunately, yeah, the Afrix Motorsport was doing a demonstration, so it also doesn't count as an official lap record. But more importantly is that Toby doesn't want to worry about that. He wants to know that his home track, he has the number 1 lap around the circuit, and he's pushing hard to get that. As the two Ferraris head out of Sunset Corner down towards Clubhouse, Aranjis is pulling away. So the Stradale Motorsport F430 is getting away there from Franco Scribante. Scribante, remember, was at the front end of the field in the first round of this racing at the International at Zwartkops at the beginning of the year. So he's had a little bit of work to do, but remember, Franco Scribante is busy developing a 1,000 horsepower Porsche to come and play in this field. There's going to be another Porsche. Unfortunately, Son Moodley on the sideline. How's it going, Son? Hope you can hear us out there, but unfortunately, that is the end of race number 1 there for the Bigfoot Express Freight man. He is the big boss man of Bigfoot Express Freight. Does a huge amount of work for Motorsport down in the Eastern Cape, and of course is a huge partner of the Porsche brand.
There we go, Greg. Yeah, the guys are coming down the mine shaft there. Still a Rangers leading out Scribante. And just behind them, Davy Olivier hanging in there with that BMW. Unbelievable to think. Baby Beamer, as you call it, he's hanging in there. He's looking for a possible podium. But here we go. The fight for the podium at the moment is it's a Rangers from Scribante. The two Porsches in the front, they've gone and they can't see them anymore. But let's have a look here, Greg. What's going to happen? Does Scribante have any answers for Rangers? Not at this stage.
Not at this stage, but he might be sitting there pretty at this stage and waiting for an opportunity. There you got Andre van der Merwe fighting with Jimbo Jonakaro, the big boss of G&H Transport, the naming rights sponsors behind them. It looks like it's one of the very fast little Lotuses there. I'll tell you something, that little Lotus has got a great turn of pace, a Lotus Exige fighting behind Andre Brinker, Andre van der Merwe, Jimbo Jonakaro, and right on his tail looks like that is Mark du Toit in the first of the 360 versions of these Ferraris. Remember the 3.6 litre V8 there in the back in the hands of Mark du Toit.
Yeah, great little tussle here between some Ferraris, and you said that little Lotus there. It is Jimbo Giancarlo, it is Mark du Toit there, and yes, we've got a Porsche in the mix as well.
Peter Zeele's in that Lotus as he comes under attack. Round the outside, Mark du Toit goes around the outside of the Lotus, and now goes hunting for a 430 version of the Ferrari. It's a prancing horse battle here, and just behind them comes the KTM Crossbow returning. Then it's Oliver Delay in another 996, I think it is, that Oliver Delay drives. The Marlboro Crane High Man, Jimbo Jonakaro, late on the brakes. Can he squeeze out Van der Merwe? Yes, he can. What a move there from Jimbo. The big Jim man is in the house.
Great shot there in the camera. You can almost see Jimbo's eyes there, Greg.
You can see his smile. You can definitely see his smile.
But a great move there by Uncle Jimbo. Jonakaro, a great, how can I say, he's a great man to have in the sport, Greg.
Yes, and I tell you something, the amount of money that they put in behind the sport and the amount amount of effort that they put in from their team side of things. They've got 3 cars running in this. In fact, they've got 4 cars. We forgot about Davy Olivier. And they normally have 5. You've still got Kurt, who plays around in another little BMW in the backpack, but he's decided to go and fight it out in the BMW Car Club this year. So now under braking, Brink is in trouble. Andre Brink has been closed down here by Jimbo Jonakara, and the 430 Ferrari is looking for a way through to move his way up slightly higher in the overall proceedings, and of course it'll bring him probably into the top 20.
Greg, and as the guys, as we see them, they're going through the S's. Unfortunately, Taco in the Mercedes, he's had a problem. I don't know if they left him, but he slowed down there. But a great shot there. Coming up, Uncle Jimbo, he's trying to get a position there. In the meantime,
check it, Dion Duplessis.
He's coming back after his spin there. His incident there, and Cheetah, look at him, wide on the outside. Not a lot of grip there. Going down the mine shot. Let's see. There could be a little bit of dirt on the tyres there, Greg. But Uncle Jimbo doing very well there for a GNH Transport.
If I'm not mistaken, that KTM Crossbow runs a 3.2 V6 Audi engine in it. So power to weight ratio, it's going to have the advantage over the Porsche and the 3 Ferraris. Or nearly said 2, but there's 3 of them there actually. And now Dion Duplessis trying to find a way around the outside of that Porsche of Brink. He now goes on the inside for Cheetah. This is where he got it all wrong. Hopefully not going to go wrong again. Here we go into Cheetah. Can you get it? Yes, he does. Only just squeezing out Brink's Porsche for that maneuver. And that'll move him up very nicely. So a great bit of maneuvering there from Dion Duplessis. Remember, this is fighting for the top 20. These are the battles for top 20.
Yeah, Greg, the Crossbow looks like he decided that he can do 2x2 through Cheetah. No, usually you can't do 2x2 through Cheetah. As they come down the main straight here, the Crossbow, he's pulling a bit of a lead. Then we've got the Porsche, then the Ferrari of Jimbo Jonakara, and then 2 Ferraris chasing him down.
Yeah, great bit of driving here from Jimbo Jonakara to stay on the back end of Brink's Porsche. And now as we head into the second half of this race, you can see the Ferraris are also being closed down just in the background. They keep an eye out on Oliver Delay, slowly but surely reeling them in and starting to become a bit of a threat to the 360 versions and the 430 version just ahead of him. Speaking of a couple of cars that didn't quite make it out here, unfortunately Greg Parton's Lamborghini Huracan didn't make it out here, the Dryset Environment car. Big pity. But as I also mentioned earlier on, keep an eye out on all social media aspects, particularly here on ILEB and maybe on Fast and even on the Extreme Supercars page. As we see the boss man large and in charge, massive lead for him. But place. Here's 3rd and 4th.
Okay. Yeah,
Johan Engelbrecht just ahead of these 2 Ferraris, and Arangis is really on a flyer here. He can, I think he can probably see that there's going to be some traffic, so he's hoping that the traffic is going to slow Engelbrecht down.
Yeah, Greg just came up to a back marker, but that's it. Arangis, he's got to hammer down now. He needs to pull a gap. So yeah, he knows if there's a back marker that will come into play, could be a problem. We've seen it so many times, Greg. You know, I've seen it so many times where back markers cost or win or lose you the race.
Well, these guys are not worried about back markers. They're in their own little back marker battle. Remember, this is the fight a little bit further down there for 14, 15, 16 and 17th place. And Delay now looking to sneak up into probably 15th. Final time for them. There's Toby. Toby coming up on the back of them. So he's slowly but surely closing in on that little battle. That's why we stuck with that battle. Toby Fenter will be slowed down ever so slightly, but 13 seconds ahead of Johan Engelbrecht in the Jogga Jogga Cafe car is not going to be an issue for him. Even if he backs out and lets these cars go through to complete their race, Toby Fenter is going to be the first man across the line here for the first time today in the GNH Transport Extreme Supercars. And kind of what we expected, but we're looking at the lap times, not quite what we wanted. A 45.980 is the fastest lap we've got out of him. It was his previous lap, so that was in amongst some traffic as well, but we were expecting about a 43. Now a little bit later on in the day, we're coming out at about 4:10, so with the delay we've had so far at about 4:30, it's cooler conditions. These cars particularly like the cool conditions, so if the track temperature stays up as high as it can, we may see those lap times drop down from Toby, and he could possibly set that outright lap record again. But congratulations to Mr. Porsche South Africa and of course Mr. Kyalami as well. Toby Fenter taking the first victory today in the GNH Transport Extreme Supercar. Second place goes to another Porsche. It's the Jogga Jogga Cafe and Madonna Wines Porsche from GT Club Sport. That is Johan Engelbrecht in the 99 machine. Followed by Charles Arangis in the Stradale Motorsport 430 Ferrari. It says Lamborghini on the timing monitors, but it's actually a Ferrari 430. Franco Scribanti in a similar car there in 4th place for Scuderia Scribanti. And then it's Davy Olivier, first of the BMWs from GNH.
It's Uncle Jimbo.
Yeah, come on, Uncle Jimbo. Sticking up the inside. He's got him. He's going to have a go. Jimbo goes side by side with Brink. Can he get him into the braking markers for Cheetah? Oh, he's going to just have enough space. How's that? Squeeze through. Yeah, you don't want to take out a 430. It's going to be costly. Andre Brink giving him a little bit of room. Here comes the toy. Can he do the same thing to Delay? No, he can't. Jimbo Jonakara, what a move there, Leon.
Greg, that was an excellent, I must say. That took a lot of guts there with that machinery. As you said, lots of money there, but great move by Uncle Jimbo to get that position. So like we said, it's never over till you see that checkered flag.
Yeah, and it's not a fat lady holding a checkered flag, as you said earlier on. Hey? It's one of our Kyalami marshals. So there it is. It's Ferrari with two Porsches in between them. But what a dice and what a great start to the day for the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. That's our first heat of the day, remember. We come back about 4:30 this afternoon for some more action here on ILEB. I'm just waiting to hear whether we're going to get a little highlights package. I'm sure they're going to put something together. But as they come down into Yuxkay Street, high fives you can see, and a little bit of waving between the drivers there. They know they were in a good dice. Probably one of the best dices on track was this little one. We see the big boss man, Toby Fenter, pulling into his pit lane right below us here. But here we go, highlights of the race. The whole shot was taken by Johan Engelbrecht. He actually held on for about 2 laps. And then we had a big incident with Sun Moodley coming together with the KTM crossbow of Dion Duplessis. A big spin for the 458 of Marcel Angel. He eventually slotted back in, and Angel would end up, just looking at the way things went, I don't think he actually finished up the race because I don't see him on the timing monitor. So 2 cars getting involved in incidents that they didn't quite want. One of them was that man there, Sun Moodley from the Bigfoot Express Freight. Then we featured a little bit of a battle further back as Tuka Mechanicos had some issues of his own in his Mercedes-Benz. Craig Jarvis went a little bit farming and put the Panacea liquid